Binary subtraction. This is found on page 136 in your book. Let's take a decimal number like 130 minus, we'll take 29. Now these are base 10 numbers like we use in our everyday lives. 0 minus 9. You know that we can't do that. So what we do is we borrow from the 3. This becomes a 2. The 0 becomes what? Well, you know that it becomes a 10. You see, we deal in the base 10 numbering system, which means each place that we move is a factor of 10. So if I borrow a factor of 10 from this position, it drops a factor of 10 to 2, then this increases by a factor of 10. So 10 minus 9 now becomes a 1. 2 minus 2 is a 0, and then we bring down the 1. We do binary subtraction the same way. Let's take the binary number 1, 0, 0, and let's subtract 1. 0 minus 1, we can't do that. So we borrow from the next position, which is also a 0. So we can't borrow anything because it's already 0. So what we'll do is we'll go to the third position, which is a 1. We borrow from this 1, and it becomes a 0. Then this becomes a 2. If you remember, if we go back to the base 10 numbering system, when we borrow from a position, we're actually borrowing 10 because this is the base 10 numbering system. In binary, when we borrow from a position, since this is base 2 numbering system, we borrow a factor of 2. Now, since we have a 2 in this position, we can borrow from it to go here. So when we borrow from the 2, it becomes a 1, and this becomes a 2. Now we can do our subtracting. 2 minus 1 is 1. I'm saying 2, 1, 0 is equal to 2 in decimal. Then we come to our next column. We got a 1 minus 0. Well, we just bring it down since there's nothing here. 0, there's nothing here, so we just leave it at that. And we can check ourselves. 1, 0, 0 converted to decimal is a 4. 1 converted to decimal is a 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. Sum of weights, this is 1, this is 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. Let's do another. Let's go 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0 minus 1, 1, 1. 0 minus 1, I got to borrow, so I'll borrow from this 1. It becomes a 0. This becomes a 1, 0. 1, 0 minus 1 is 1. 0 minus 1, I can't do that. So I've got to borrow. I can't borrow from a 0. I can borrow from a 1. This becomes a 0. This becomes a 1, 0. Now I can borrow. This becomes a 1. This becomes a 1, 0. 1, 0 minus 1 is 1. I go to the next column. 1 minus 1 is 0. Then there's nothing here. So I bring down this 0, bring down this 0, and bring down that 1.